Hi, this is Divine Love, Light, and Wisdom with Lynn. I'm Lynn, and I will never DM you or ask you for money unless you've contacted me for my services prior. Also, I just wanted to do something a little different today. I came across these books a few years ago in a small town in Northern Ontario, and they were created by Shanti Love. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip through it and see what page we drop on and see what message we have today for everyone, for the collective. Okay, and whenever you see this, it's the right timing and it's for you. And if it really doesn't resonate, just please feel free to continue and scroll on. So this one here is a book of 44 Days of Inspired Messages and Guidance. And I think that's just beautiful. So we're going to just flip. And, okay, so this is the one that actually kept kind of flipping to. I'm going to show you the picture. Choose positivity. Look at this. Pure joy, pure bliss. Look at the beautiful colors there. Look at the light glowing in the background. There's nothing that can hinder this beautiful energy. And then it says here, you have the choice in every situation to choose your response. The one thing for sure that you have control over in your life is the way you respond. Isn't that true? Sometimes no matter how things seem dire, if our response is more positive and we can see the glass half full instead of half empty, it can make a large difference in our life. Not only what we attract, but also just in our well-being. Just being in that space makes a difference. And it also says here, for one thing for sure that you can control over in your life is the way you respond. Again, you can think that everything happens for you or to you. This is a very common saying, and sometimes we just need that reminder. You know, sometimes it feels like it's happening to us, but realistically it's happening for us. And if we could see the reason behind it, if we could respond with a positive attitude behind it, and sometimes we have to do the inner work and what we call shadow work. What is it in me that is bringing this forward? What is it that I have to look at? What's the clarity I need? And sometimes it's not even about getting clarity, it's just about how we respond. Am I going to respond in a positive way regardless of what's happening in my life? Or am I going to go down that dark rabbit hole and feel like I'm a victim, getting the victimhood mentality? And this seems to be a theme, because I think that I've mentioned that in other videos, that theme of the victimhood mentality. So I think that right now, collectively, a lot of people are feeling that way. And yeah, so basically, it's not all, I'm not going to read it word for word, but just keep higher vibrations, keep positive, and the results will be so much better because you're going to start attracting more of that positive energy towards you. Okay, so let's see. What can we do? We need another one. No, not from this book. So this is the book, and I have another one. Fairy Magic and Inspiration. Fairy Magic and Inspiration. And this is from the same authors. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Now let's flip. Okay. So this is the picture, and I'll read to you. This is the picture. You know, there's a tribe, and I can't quite remember where, but there's a tribe that does not need flashlights or light to see in the dark. They literally will go in the jungle, and everything looks like this, iridescent, and they see in the dark, in the pure dark. And I'm assuming that from what I'm gathering myself, and that may or may not be true, is that they're actually tapping into the plant energy. They're tapping into the aura of the plant, so this is why they're able to see. Now, this is often in movies like Avatar and those things, but actually there are some truths to those things sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. And here it says, expand your mind think in new creative ways. This is something that's been coming around that I've been picking up a lot. Right now, we need to be creative in things we do in everyday life. Maybe your career is changing. Maybe your job's changing. Maybe you need to look at a more creative, different avenue. And that's where the creativity comes in, is what else could I do that I haven't really looked at before? Maybe it's just about tapping into that energy and doing something new, like an art, a craft. It could be just basically anything. But yeah. So I think, how about if we pull some cards? I'm going to pull a few cards, and I'm not quite sure because I wasn't prepared for this. This is what I'm picking up now. So I'm just going to pause this for a second, and I'm going to tap into which deck wants to come forward for us. Okay, so I'm back. So this is the deck that wants to come forward. And it really makes a lot of sense, considering the last message we had. Because, you know, the elementals, the fairies, many don't understand who they are, what they are. They're like earth angels. They take care of the planet. They often will guide us. Of course, like everything else, we have to ask for them to help us. They do have egos. They're a little bit different than angels, because angels don't have egos, at least not the ones that work for the light. And so we're going to see what it is they want us to know today. And then I don't know how many cards I'm going to pull. It'll just depend on what I get and what needs to come out. So this is for the highest good of all. I've said my prayers before, but we're going to put an intention again. Only for the highest good, the greater good of all, 100% aligned divine source, God created all that is, 100% light, and only that energy. And I ask that all those who watch these videos of mine, all of them, receive the Christ consciousness, God consciousness energy to help them heal, for clarity, and to tap into the unconditional love that we always have access to, but sometimes we forget we can tap into. And that's always my my goal. And there's one that just kind of wants to come out. Okay. Now I'm going to, no more jumpers, so I'm going to pick out randomly. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Do I need more? No, I don't need more. Okay, so the first one was positive expectations. And it really ties into what we were talking about earlier. Second one is visualization. You know, this is how we manifest. We manifest through visualization. Imagination is another word we can use as far as visualization. Romantic partner. Romantic partner. And even though this is romantic partner, this can be a partner of anything as well, because I like to not always take everything in quite the exact contents as a card, and it can be either or. It could be a career partner. It could be a creative partner, someone you're about to create something with in a partnership. So either whatever way it's going to resonate with you is what it's going to be. And problem resolved. Problem resolved. So what I'm getting here is when you expect positive outcomes, even through the midst of the darkness, see how everything around her is really dark. But through her positive expectations, the light begins to shine on her. And then see, the light becomes part of her. So through positive expectations, we can shift. We can shift. We can bring ourselves to a higher vibration and a better well-being and feeling. Visualization. Now, if you look at her, and in this case, she is kind of a mermaid. I just noticed that. You see her tail here. She's kind of a mermaid, but yet she's got butterfly wings. So she's probably a water fairy or a nymph, what people would call. And I think this is also about visualization, imagination. Visualize what it is you want to have in your life. And also, I think, because water is a pure, beautiful energy, be around water. And it could be a river, it could be a lake, it could be an ocean. It could also be just drink more water. And when you have water, it doesn't matter what kind of water it is. When you have it in a bottle, in a glass, you can put labels on those things and put what you want: love, authenticity, whatever that is. That will actually infuse your water with that intention. So you're drinking that intention. And if you don't have time to put labels on and you just can't, then just before you drink it, hold it and just put your intention in the water and how you want it to nourish you. What kind of vibration you want it to nourish you with. Okay? So that is one thing you can do. Yeah. So, and it's really about just being in a space of tranquility. And sometimes we just see she's alone. Sometimes we just need to be alone. We need to be alone so we can gather our thoughts and gain more clarity. And then this one here, the romantic partner. And maybe that's what you're trying to attract to yourself. And when you attract a partner of any kind, romantic or career-wise or project-wise, always put your intention that, and you can have a list if you want, as big as you want, but don't just ask or try to manifest a partner, because what kind of partner are you going to have? Be very specific in what it is you want, right? And you may or may not get all those qualities in the person that you will attract, but we don't want just any partner. We don't want just any life partner. We want the best. And of course, sometimes we can also put in for my highest good and the greater good of all, because sometimes regardless, that's what's going to happen because they have a purpose in your life. Okay. So basically, it's about being mindful. How are you going to bring that in? Positive expectations, but also positive expectations of the people you're going to attract to yourself, right? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Even more importantly, because you could have a beautiful box and it's wrapped, and I literally see this in my mind's eye, wrapped in the most beautiful, expensive paper, beautiful, expensive bow. Like someone really knew what they were doing. You open up the box and there really isn't anything tangible in there. Nothing. And when I say value or tangible, I'm not talking about just a monetary amount, just in general. Person might have spent a lot of time and money on the outer package, but the inner package really lacks anything. Now, someone might just wrap up something really quick, brown paper, that's all they had, but what's inside, that's the gift. That's the real gift, the big gift. And that includes everything and everyone in your life. Just because they package it well doesn't mean it's that great, right? A lot of people are really good at talking people into believing they are a certain way when they're not. And I'm talking about especially in partnerships this way, people, whatever. And partnership could be with a woman, a man, because at the end of the day, no matter what your preferences are, no matter who's listening to this reading, but at the end of the day, the package doesn't always look good when something really good inside is in there. So just be mindful. How does it feel? Okay. And sometimes there's some people that are very good at attracting us into their lives. They're not so good at nurturing us when we're in their lives, nurturing our needs. And what they present at first is completely different from what they represent after, and that goes vice versa. You might see something that looks very mundane, not so important, but the gift inside is unbelievable once you tap into that. Okay, that energy, that person or persons. It could also be a group of people. It could also be a group of what you think is like-minded. Might not be, and maybe might not be so shiny at first, but they're a great group to work with. Another group, they look like they've made it and they're great, and then but something just doesn't feel right because the mattress isn't right for you. Anyways, and here you have problems resolved. see how the snake, I just noticed that the snake is all around her, and she kind of has a fearful look on her. Like she just feels like, and it's not that snakes can always be fearful and negative either. But in this case, what I'm getting from this reading right now is that she's not sure that she can get out of whatever it is, or he, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. Feels trapped. Feels, and all she's got to do is just basically just open her arms and let them go. Okay, so something we just need to let things go. And in the background, there's a ship coming. See? There's a new ship coming. There's a new beginning coming. There's a new story coming. And when we allow ourselves to see that, we really aren't really tied. We're not really bound. There's a gap here. And we just have to open our arms, just let go. Let go of what no longer serves us. Let go of what no longer is for our highest good. And anyways, I truly hope that on some level this resonated with you. And if it didn't, it just means it wasn't meant to. And if some of it did and some of it didn't, then that's exactly what was meant for you. The parts that resonate, please continue to hold on to that. It doesn't always mean that the whole reading will be for you. But I truly hope, regardless, that this will help you on your journey. That's my hope for everybody. To guide people on their journey. We all have a journey. It's not always easy, but sometimes we just need that little something that just clicks, that little something that puts a light bulb moment in our brain, in our head. And when we see things in a different perspective, everything shifts, everything changes. So anyways, I will finish with that, and I wish you well today and every day, of course. And namaste.